Mel Reid doing Golf Central all week. How are you?
I'm great, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, speaking of the Solheim Cup, you're one of the rare people who can say, I've beaten Nelly Korda a couple of times.
Yeah, I have. You just reminded me of that. Yeah, thank you very much. I know I said something a bit cheeky to her on 18 when I think we were all square. I was playing with Leona, and I think I got in her head a little bit, which I quite enjoyed. But, yeah, I mean, she's just a fantastic player, isn't she? Very excited to see what she does this week at Chevron. Look, I think we hold Nelly to such a high expectation. I think the incredible season that she had last year, we just always think she's going to win or she's going to be up there in contention. She's only played like 5 events this year. Right. You know, this is where it's a bit weird with Chevron as well, is kind of like where it kind of sits in the calendar year is that there's not that many events leading up to it. But her stroke average, you know, her scoring average is still one of the best. I think it's #1 at the minute, 68.13. So, listen, I think she's going to start getting into a groove a little bit more now. She's played more tournaments, and I wouldn't not be surprised to see her have a great finish this week at Chevron.
It's a great point on the schedule as well, because if you weren't committed to that month-long swing in Asia, then you really don't have a lot of warm-up events before the first major. Is she still your favourite this week, or was she your favourite?
Well, it's funny, really. I was looking at this because I know they've obviously changed the venue, you know, to be at the Woodlands the last couple of years. But you always get like a cream of the crop winner. And it's not necessarily a golf course that stands out to me as a major golf course. You know, it's not the rough, it's not the tightest. But it's just a very, very strong golf course. And for some reason, you know, you had Lilia Vu, who then went on to be world #1 quickly after that. Nelly last year, world #1. And so I think it's going to be a very high-ranked player again this week, which I think is going to be lifting the trophy. Look, I think you can never rule Nelly out. I think with the way that she swings the golf club so beautifully, reason number 99 why I retired, because I just can't keep up with players like that. I would not be surprised at all if we saw a good result from Nelly this week. Whether she'll win or not, I don't know if she's played enough reps. But then again, nobody has.
You know, our Amy Rogers did a piece on Nelly Korda and the team around her, the coach, the parents, Sebastian, the brother, Jessica, the sister. When you look at Nelly Korda, what stands out to you the most? Is it physical? Is it mental that separates her and makes her such a dominant #1?
Well, this is where I'm going to give Jess a lot of credit. Playing a lot of golf with Jess. Korda, I think she's really helped influence Nelly. You know, she's really has been an incredible big sister. I think that Nelly's always had, I hate using the word talent because they work so incredibly hard, but she's always had that natural ability to play golf. The whole family is just athletic, right? So what I think that Nelly needed when she first came out on tour was a bit of a stronger head, a more mature mentality, and I think that Jess accelerated that. I think she really did guide her and help her, and I really believe that she's become the player she is. A lot of credit to Jess, but also, you know, with their family, like you've just said, how incredibly talented they are from an athletic standpoint, you've got to give credit to the parents as well, and the incredible team that they have built around Nelly. And you know, she's just, it looks like she's just made to be a world #1 athlete in whatever she does, and thank goodness she's chosen golf, and we get to watch her every week.
And I guess with Jess, she came with a built-in mentor, and we had Amy Alcott on the show a couple of days ago, and she talked about how she'd like to see more of the younger players these days pick the brains of the veterans. Whose brain did you pick when you come out? Do you think young players these days do that enough?
It's funny. I did. I picked Laura Davis's brain.
It's a pretty good one to start.
Pretty good one. Yeah, as she was fantastic with me. Really took me under her wing. Got Kari Webb, another mentor of mine, was fantastic. Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about this earlier, and well, a lot of us have retired, by the way. A lot of us vets have retired. You know, you look at like a Marina Alex, a Michelle Wee, and Imi Azotto. A lot of us have retired, and I think that on the LPGA, our playing careers are kind of cut a little bit short, whether we want to go and have families or do we just get filtered out or whatever it is. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like rookies now, and a lot of these rookies are coming out of, you know, these colleges, and these colleges, I don't know what they're doing, but they're just churning out incredibly rounded golfers. You know, they're not scared, they have no scar tissue, they have no fear. They haven't done tour life yet, so they don't even, you know, they're very innocent to the grind of it all, I guess you should say. And they're just kind of ready for win. And you know, I have noticed a slight shift, certainly in the mentality of the players on tour, now that our prize money has increased so much in the last 2 or 3 years, which we have been fighting for, and obviously we welcome it. But it has made the tour a little bit more business-like. It's not quite as what it used to be, where we used to sit and have dinners and chat about things. It's very much like, this is me, this is my team. Players can afford their team out now. They can afford family, friends, parents, whatever it is. And so they kind of just are kept in this bubble. And so, yeah, I think that the old school way of asking for advice on tour from mentors and older players is disappearing, which is a bit of a shame, really, but I guess that's just the new generation now.
Well, you're still plugged into the game. You have a lot of friends out there competing. We had Brittany Lindsay come on a couple days ago. I asked her the question, you know, what do you think about the state of the modern LPGA? There's no commissioner at this time. How do you feel? She's like, well, we've got a lot of great candidates. The purses are up. She was very positive about the state of the LPGA. Are you positive?
You're going to get me in trouble here. Look, if I'm completely honest, the prize money is sensational. My argument is, like, what do we bring back in? Like, what ticket sales are we doing? What revenue are we bringing back in? You know, the PGA Tour, I'm not here to compare at all, but they do bring a lot of revenue back into the game. You know, they have so many fans through the door, they have so many big championships. And it's just a shame for me that how can we get more people and more eyes on the game, and how do we get more fans through the door to actually watch these incredible athletes? And I think that that's where there's a bit of a gap, which we need to close. I'm not quite sure how we do that. I feel like the way that women's sport, the momentum of women's sport right now, I feel like golf is in a way getting a little bit left behind. And I don't know whether that's a branding, whether we're just not in the conversations, whether I would like to be in the same umbrella as women's sport, and I feel like we're just not. We're doing something that isn't quite getting us there, and I'm not sure what that is. I think there's many, many reasons. I think, I think it needs to be a bit more of an entertainment events. I think the whole community need to get behind it a bit more. I think visibility. I think we need a lot more visibility and eyes on our game. How do we do that? Investment. So there's a lot of different things. I could talk about it for ages, but that's my opinion on it.
And some of the conversations we've had earlier with Amy Rogers, with Beth Ann Nichols, is around the idea of where the history and stature of the tour meets that commercial need. And we've talked about how the idea of a Grand Slam has become somewhat distorted in the women's game now, because Evian was elevated because of the prize of the purse a decade ago. And even one of the conversations earlier about the pro-am restrictions on the players this week, where they're not allowed to practice during the pro-am of a major because they have to keep things moving for the clients and sponsors around them. What would your attitude be if you were out there? You've played this tournament as recently as 2 years ago. If you were out there and been told on a day that's already been shortened by rain that your practice is further truncated, is that going to make you blow a gasket if you were out there?
Well, the men don't have pro-ams and majors. Yeah. I don't think the women should. Okay, we are obviously in a different situation. We are extremely grateful for the money that we get given in the prize fund, but that comes at a cost, and that comes at things like pro-ams during majors. And quite honestly, I think that there has been a bit of chat about pro-ams. I'm kind of hearing it from the tour, but I've always kind of tried to instill in the rookies and in the players that, listen, you do get your check on Wednesday. You know, just for whatever it is, we have a lot of 9-hole pro-ams now. Just suck it up, be polite and ask questions and get to know your playing partners, right? Make it enjoyable for them. It's their day. But I've always heard very positive feedback from the LPGA and pro-ams. Always. Yeah. It's always been, the girls are so engaging, they were great with us. I've never actually heard what I'm hearing now. So I don't know what is going on, but yeah, again, I feel like I'll probably get in trouble, but I don't think there should be pro-ams in major championships at all.
No, I agree with you 100%. In this Caitlin Clark era of women's sports, bringing more eyeballs to college basketball, now the WNBA, I was interested in what you said about the gap that we're seeing. That it hasn't quite transcended to golf. Is it as much as mixed team events in the Olympics? Is it more outreach from the PGA Tour? I'm always a little skittish to ask that question, as if the LPGA needs the PGA Tour's help.
I'm going to say no, I don't think we do. Yeah. And I don't think it's their responsibility either, to be quite honest with you. I think that we need to do something from a brand and marketing standpoint that make us as entertaining. And yes, I know golf is very different, it's a much slower sport. It's kind of hard to make it as entertaining as possible compared to like a WNBA, or hockey or something like that. But I certainly think it can be much improved from what it is right now. And I think that branding and getting more people through the door in some way or another would really elevate everything together as one. And then we can be in discussions with other women's sports, which I think which needs to be happening.